Hey, what's going on, guys? Goose here, man. Coming back at your video. Before I get started, man, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, call notifications so you get notified when we go live, do videos, much more content coming up. All right, let's look at the SEC as week number 2 is in the books. So we had a full slate of games in the SEC. I don't think, yeah, we didn't have any. No conference games yet. That's going to change. It's going to change this week number 3 coming up. All right, Georgia at home against Ball State as Georgia wins 45-3. Had a little slow start, didn't score the first quarter, but Carson Beck threw for 2 touchdowns in the pick. Robinson had 38 yards on the ground. Smith had 50 yards receiving for Georgia as Carson Beck threw 2 touchdowns in the pick as Georgia rolls over Ball State 45-3. As once they got started in the second quarter, you can see they scored 31 points in that second quarter, and then 14 in the third. So once they got their offense rolling, it was just all right. So I don't know why they market them in this order, but anyway, thought they would go like in order the games are played. But anyway, we got Texas. Texas went on the road and defeated Alabama 34-24. As Quinn Ewers threw for 3 touchdowns and 349 for Texas. And so, man, this was a very exciting football game. As Milroe threw for 255, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. McClellan ran for 45. Prentice caught for 68 yards. But yeah, this was an exciting game. Really was an exciting game as the Longhorns went 34-24, and they had the better quarterback by far. As they pulled away in that fourth quarter. They won 21-8 in that fourth quarter as they defeated Alabama in Tuscaloosa 34-24. So Texas, they're gonna be in the SEC next year. All right, we got Tennessee were at home, and they played Austin P. Governors as they went 30-13. Look at the score, you're like, man, shouldn't they have won by a little more than that? But Milton threw for 228, 2 touchdowns. Wright had 13 carries for 118. Keaton had 5 receptions for 52 and a touchdown for the Tennessee Volunteers as they improved to 2-0 on the season. They got a big game coming up this week against Florida. Going to be at the Swamp. All right, we got LSU played home to Grambling as LSU went 72-10. Slow start for the Tigers in the first quarter, but they pulled away. Second, third, fourth quarter, they did what they had to do. Defense was very, very shaky early on. That needs to get fixed. Jay Daniels had 5 touchdown passes. Logan Diggs ran for 115 and a touchdown. And Neighbors was our leading receiver for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. But yeah, like I said, the rush defense for LSU was horrible, especially in that first half. But I don't know if they just didn't come out ready to play, or was the blocking schemes that well for Grambling. But whatever it is, they're gonna have to come big. LSU's gonna have to come play week in, week out. They can't just take any team lightly. All right, Ole Miss went on the road to face Tulane, and they went 37-20. As the Rebs, as Dart threw for 2 touchdowns in the pick, at 267 through the air. Judkins had 48 yards on the ground on a touchdown. Wade was the leading receiver, 7 receptions for 106. As he had Tulane with no Michael Pratt, Tulane's chances went down significantly to win this football game. But I think it'd have been a lot closer if Pratt was able to play. Don't know if they would be able to pull it off. But this game definitely would have been a lot closer if Pratt had to play for Tulane. All right, we got Miami and Texas A&M next. It's Miami, the Hurricanes. Hurricanes beat Texas A&M 48-33. As man, where's your defense, Texas A&M? Where's your defense? As Van Dyke threw for 374 and 5 touchdowns for Miami. Wegman had 2 touchdowns, 2 picks for A&M for 336. Daniels had 62 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown for A&M, and Stewart had 11 receptions and 142 for Texas A&M. But man, as you can see, the game was close, and then the game was close in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, the Miami outscored them 17-7 in that fourth quarter. So the Hurricanes get a big win, man. All right. This was like this game was like 11 o'clock Eastern. Wake Forest and Vanderbilt as the Demon Deacons win 36-20 over Vanderbilt as Vanderbilt falls for the first time this year. As for the Commodores, Swan had 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, threw for 314. Smith had 77 yards on the ground for the Commodores. Humphreys 109 and a touchdown for Vanderbilt in a losing effort as they fall to 2-1. Yes, man. About that texting, group text about fantasy. All right, man. Jeez, man. Over here, jeez. All right, we got Kentucky. We got Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. As Kentucky wins, Kentucky Wildcats beat Eastern Kentucky 28-17. As you can see, this game was tied at halftime. It was tied at 7 at halftime, and in the third quarter, the Wildcats outscored 14-3, and they improved to 2-0 in the season. As Liberty threw for 4 touchdowns. The pick for Kentucky, Davis had 52 yards on the ground. Robinson had 136 receiving for the Wildcats as they improved to 2-0 on the season. All right, we got Arkansas and Kent State. As Arkansas wins 28-6, as they score 7 points in each quarter. As KJ Jefferson threw for 136, 2 touchdowns. Green had 82 yards on the ground and on 15 carries. Reading receiver was T. Sly, 3 receptions and 51 yards. Pretty sure I murdered to that. Yes, Arkansas scored in every quarter, 7 points in every quarter. They went 28-6. They beat Kent State. All right. All right, we got a few more games on the docket as we got Florida Gators. Florida Gators they get their first win of the season. They went 49-7 over McNeese, so they do what they needed to do against a lesser opponent, an FCS opponent. As Mertz threw for 193, a touchdown. Johnson had 119 yards on the ground. And Pearsall had 123 yards receiving and 1 touchdown for the Gators as they improved to 1-1, but they got a big game this Saturday night against the Tennessee Volunteers. All right, and we got Mississippi State and Arizona. As the Bulldogs won in overtime over Arizona, 31-24. As Rogers threw for 162, 3 touchdowns. Mertz had 123 yards on the ground on a touchdown. And Griffin had 5 receptions and 83 yards receiving for the Bulldogs. They get an overtime win. They improved to 2-0 in the season. As their defense forces 5 turnovers, and they hold off Arizona in overtime at home. All right, we got 2 more games on the list. We got South Carolina and Furman. South Carolina beats Furman 47-21. As you see, 2 big quarters by the Gamecocks. Second and third quarter. Spencer Rattler threw for 345, 3 touchdowns. Joyner, 11 receptions, 42 and a touchdown. And Leggett, 6 receptions and 118 and a touchdown for the Gamecocks. As they get their first win of the year, they proved a 1-1 on the season. All right, the last game on the list was a very late game over there on the West Coast. As Auburn does just enough as they went 14-10 over the Cal Bears. As they score in the fourth quarter about 6 minutes ago, over 6 minutes ago, Auburn scores as Thorne threw for only 94 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. That's got to change going to the SEC play. Hunter had 53 yards on the ground, 11 carries, and Fairweather had 3 receptions and 39 yards and a touchdown there for the Tigers as they improved to 2-0 on the season. So there's your week 2 in the SEC. So there's your week 2 in the SEC. So yeah, I'll be more videos will be coming out this week. Might do a probably am going to do a preview video for the SEC. Don't know if I'm going to do that as a premiere or a live stream. I don't know. But we got some games coming up this week in the SEC in week number 3. Some conference games too. So conference is going to kick off for the SEC, and it's going to be a fun ride. And I'll see you guys next time, man. See y'all later.